the traffic calming in one of.
In the hopper to do this summer.
Oh,
It's like
in
in the
summer.
top. It's not, I haven't flushed out all the.
Okay,
all
because I
the-
thought it was gonna be in May, or like the last one in May, but yeah, I didn't see
Since
it.
we skipped next week, I don't think we can do it.
Okay,
But-
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right by it, have to hit the wrong.
Okay,
Yeah, it's the only.
welcome.
How you doing? Good.
Welcome to the
Is this all right?
Board of Trustees workshop meeting. It is May 12th. 2026. Can I get a motion to open the meeting? Trustee Asuma, second trustee. Good. All in favor? That's 6 of us. I anticipate trustee Rothrock will be here shortly. We have trustee Rosenberg, calling in remotely from a location on the notice. Let's begin. Starting, Margaret, do you want to come up for this part about the EV charger stations pricing? So the first item is us discussing some more and hopefully finalizing our EV charging station pricing. Margaret prepared a helpful memo that details what we've learned so far. Thing that I think is new that we just need to talk through and make sure everybody understands is the charge point fee structure, which you're suggesting would be a range per session somewhere between 25 cents and 9 cents. That is charged directly to the user that would then cover the charge point costs to the village, correct?
Correct. So the charge point will allow us to charge between 25 cents and 99 cents per session. We don't have to charge anything. But we have to pay for it, right? So it will add up to help us cover any of the costs that potentially would not be covered. So we're all going into this kind of blindly. And picking numbers that we can't quite tell are gonna be real because we don't know what the use is gonna be. And you have to kind of look at it from the perspective of, it's not village residents that are going to be using these typically, it's usually people from out of town, right? The natural assumption would be this is here for our residents. That's not typically what's going to happen. It's counterintuitive because if you have an electric vehicle, you likely have a charging station or somewhere to charge it at your own home. So you instinctively would not want to pay more outside of your own home. You could in a pinch, but you're not likely to need to do that. So we really don't know who's going to come, who's going to be using them. And the second part of the counterintuitive part is the fewer the people that use them, the more we have to charge again, because if they're not being used, we're going to need to have a higher income to pay for the cost of the charging station. So that 25 cents to 99 cents is what is typically charged. What's typically charged is 99 cents around this area. And that's kind of just to lock in. And then you charge per kilowatt hour, which again, is, as I explained in here, is not the same as a minute kind of hour. It's a measurement of energy, not a measurement of time, which is why somebody could charge for the same amount of time, be charging at the station for the same amount of time as somebody else, and their amount charged on their credit card is going to be different because the amount of energy coming into their car could be different because they have a different kind of car. The charger could be different. So it'll be similar, but it's not going to be exactly the same for each person. So my suggestion is go with the 35 cents a kilowatt hour, which is typical in this area, so that we don't undercut or overcut anyone, because if someone is really just coming through and all of the charging stations are the same, they'll say, okay, we're going to stop in Dobbs because we want to go to this restaurant and we'll charge 2 hours while we're at this restaurant. As opposed to someone who's coming through and says, oh, well, you know what, it's a little less in Irvington, or it's a little less in Terrytown, we'll stop there. But we want to keep them all the same, so everybody's kind of looking at that same number. But we can change it. So what we're gonna try to do, first of all, the first thing we have to decide is, do we want that 99-cent fee? Which my suggestion is yes, to start there. You can always take it away. It's a lot harder to add later. Then you don't need to decide about if someone stays at the charging station for longer than what it takes to charge. Because you've already decided it's EV preferred in those parking spaces, not EV only. So you don't need to do that now. And then what we need to do is add it to the fee schedule. Because if we add it to the fee schedule, then 6 months from now, we can look at it and say, okay, now we have this information of how many people are actually using the charging stations. Can we adjust it accordingly? And that way, if we put it on the fee schedule, it's much easier to change rather than putting it into the code.
And so what I'm looking to do is to put a resolution on a local law on your meeting, the 26th, for a public hearing, the following meeting in June. So then, once you've established it under your parking chapter, vehicle B and T track, and there's a parking chapter, once you've established the right to set this rate, then that then goes in the fee schedule, and then thereafter, you can change it by resolution.
So I want to just call out one thing. I mean, I'm not sure why, I guess, why it matters who's using it. But I would want to call out that the people that are likely, there would be people using it who don't have the charging station at their home because they live in a place that, like an apartment, if they live downtown, and they wouldn't have access to it. So they're going to mom's or whatever right now. And so there would be, you know, residents who don't have property that has a charging unit. So I wouldn't assume much because, like you said, we don't have any idea who's gonna use it. But I would assume that there are residents, and they probably are like downtown residents. But I also don't know, beyond the idea of like how much we're willing to risk having to pay for some of it if we get the numbers wrong, and
Correct.
whether we're paying for people that are already paying taxes or not. That, I guess, is why. But I just didn't want to go without acknowledging that there's a lot of people downtown who don't have their own.
So once you get it in, by local law, then you can set a timetable in the resolution to adopt the local law, that you'll take a look again at the usage and do an analysis and sort of a debrief.
Will we be able to tell by who's using it, where they're coming from? Right.
Or do you get,
I don't know, from ChargePoint, would we be able to tell whose license plates are?
You're not gonna be able to track back a license plate to an address. I mean, and you know,
Right.
and
So, I mean, I guess we just have to like move on without
Yeah,
it.
but we're not, I think we could just like.
Yeah.
Do what whatever we're doing locally and assess it in a year, and if we're
Right.
under, you know.
But I do want to
Money.
understand more the charge point structure. Is it like, what's the other one that we're using? Cardinal?
No, it's not.
It's like a flat rate that we pay no matter what every month, and we're trying to reduce it by passing it on to the users?
So, do you remember how ChargePoint?
My recollection is they made their money through the app. We would get a check from Charge.
Right. So,
they make their money on a transaction fee, and they make their money on the float of what they collect before they send it to us.
correct.
I haven't seen the contract, so I can't speak.
And what do they collect before they send it to us? Like, is there
They-
a flat?
So the lag between, you know, me parking and using a charger, you know, they're charging my credit card that moment. And then if they're remitting a check to us a month later, then they're holding the money and making interest on the money for for that month. I mean, that's a lot of businesses, make money on that float.
So sorry, how are they, what part of it are they making money on?
On
If
the
that's all.
on the collected interest of everything that they hold for 30 days or some
That's
period of time before. That's
But-
that and a transaction fee.
On transaction.
But-
So no, the transaction fee, they have assured us, comes all to us. So that 99-cent fee, we do not share with them. That was the question that happened the last time. And I said, don't talk about it, we'll push this off. So they have confirmed that 99-cent fee, whatever that fee is, flows straight through to the village.
So what does ChargePoint make
Why would
money?
we charge it? If they're not charging us for it and we're not trying to recoup something, why would we charge a fee for the charge? Why would we try?
Because if we don't have that fee and we guessed wrong, on the-
35 cents?
that 35 cents, because we're guessing that it's gonna cost us 21 to 28 cents per kilowatt hour in charging. If we guessed wrong and it's more than that, then we need to make up the difference somehow. We're also on the hook for the maintenance of these chargers. So if the chargers are damaged, if the chargers break down, if the chargers are vandalized, we're on the hook for that. So we need to be able to cover that somehow.
And you,
What are
That
the-
35 cents is just covering the electricity.
What are the neighboring municipalities doing for the transaction fee?
So it's funny,
Trying to establish that. I was gonna suggest we bring it up to the VOC to find out. We know more about what they're charging per kilowatt hour, but we don't know the weeds of who's getting the 99 cents or not.
see, in the past, a lot of the places like Moms or whatever that was holding them up was hosting the charge points, charging stations. They would sell advertising on the outside, and that's how they would make that.
Those
make
aren't
that-
charge point. Mom's not, the charge point chargers don't have advertising. It's a different company that does that.
Okay, so a different company, but that's how those companies would do that without charging a like a login fee. It's not a login fee, a session fee.
Service.
Yes,
And they're still doing that. Moms.
no, I think Mom started charging a session fee. I think that company changed and then they took off the advertising. But that happened very recently.
Margaret, do we know what a expected number of transactions will occur per year per unit? Like, isn't that?
There's no baseline. There's no baseline yet.
no
This is all new for everybody.
Yeah.
We don't have to guarantee them. so
We don't have
much.
to guarantee them anything, no. No, and we haven't seen the contract yet because that's gonna come from the county.
how's the paperwork going there?
Just this week, it's now transitioning from design into construction, because the Con Ed folks who are working with the county, who are working with the engineers, they're looking for installation. I have a meeting set up when I get back from the conference, Monday morning, to actually discuss the schedules of when they're actually gonna be installing these things. Again, they promised this spring, but that came and went, so now they're promising this summer, maybe next month or two.
So the SharePoint is part of the program the county's offering.
ChargePoint,
Charge
ChargePoint, and that it has to be ChargePoint.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
We can't
They-
choose a
They-
different
yeah,
vendor.
So that's what we're waiting for. You haven't seen anything.
That contract, no.
Okay.
How many stations again?
32 in the village, right?
A lot.
Is that after we removed the ones from 99 Cedar?
Yes, we started at 64.
Oh, right. Okay.
What do you think the turnover is for like 4 or 5 cars a day?
Depends on the location.
Yeah, like in a busy location, I'm gonna factor in but like it takes what, 2 hours to charge, hour?
It depends. My car took 4.5. I was up with the Sagamore. They had a bank of 50 of these. All the municipalities who came up to do this, 40 of these chargers were full all day. Mine filled up in 4.5 hours. I timed it after dinner. I went out and I moved for somebody else. But they're popular amongst municipalities. Now, I think that's your point too, is who's using it.
Thinking locally, waterfront, if somebody comes in to go to the train in the morning, they're going to park their car, they're going to be there all day. That's one session we're likely to get for each charger at waterfront. The ones behind Village Hall are going to be, I think, probably mostly, they'll be used some during the day, but my guess is that they're mostly going to be used by residents charging overnight. And similar, it's hard to anticipate what the turnover is at non-EV only the two non-EV only spots that we'll have on Main Street, but theoretically, those would be a lot of short sessions.
And so what question are we pondering? Charge
question I
less
would
than
know
$1 per.
Is whether, what the charge point fee should be, 35 cents a kilowatt hour, sure,
Yeah.
that seems like a rational number. But I would want to know what everybody else is doing and what it's based on, like.
So we don't have to put it on for, I don't have to draft the local law if you need another month.
And we don't have the contract yet for charge.
Yeah.
I mean,
But how will we know what everybody else is doing if everybody else is waiting to find out what everybody else is doing?
Right.
No, they're live in Irvington, they're live in Houston,
Tarrytown
they're
is
there. And
Then how do we
Tarrytown-
not know what they're doing already if they're live?
Well, Tarrytown is charging 30, again, I don't know.
We know the kilowatt hours.
Right, we don't know.
Can we just call them tomorrow and ask this
Yeah,
very specific
They would
question?
get like a rubric on that, just to say, hey, who's doing what, you're up and running, what are you doing? Right.
What is the charge?
I think almost everyone is 99 cents.
And
I
if
have a
that's the
question,
case,
if a
then that's what we
non-electric
should do.
vehicle parks there on Main Street, do they get a ticket?
No.
No.
It's optional.
So it's EV
Optional.
preferred is what the board decided. And we can change that if people start complaining that they can't get to the EV charging stations. You also have to remember that any of these parking spaces that there are fees for, people will also be paying those parking fees. So if they're coming in the back, if they're charging at the waterfront, they're gonna be paying $1 an hour to park at the waterfront, plus the 99 cents, plus the 35 cents a kilowatt hour. So
Except
it's,
in nighttime, there's no parking fee in
Right,
that.
when there's no fee, then there's no.
when there's no fees, yes,
Right.
Separate charge.
And what
Yes.
might get activity from Half Moon?
correct.
Just wanna make
Sure.
sure that all the signs
Mm.
say that parking
Yeah.
limits and payment still
Yeah.
applies.
Yeah.
On the same sign.
Because everyone, like, as they came in, like, I saw it in Hastings, it was like, pow, 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 they're all there, and everyone's like, what is happening? And there's it's so much confusion, so I wanna hope we can communicate well in this. Cause I don't know what their rule was, whether it was preferred or
I know
Required.
everything preferred. I think Hastings was also.
we have to prepare ourselves for that.
So the starting point would be finding out what the neighboring towns are doing.
Just for the
Villages.
99 cents, just you guys,
Yeah.
we got the information for the per hour, but
Yeah.
let's just confirm the 99 cents and then we'll set the public hearing, right, still? Or do we need to have that for the public hearing?
Yeah,
We have to have the rates in order to determine that it's going on the master fee schedule?
no, we don't. We have to have the rates in order to adapt it.
Okay.
So we can still set the public hearing.
You can set the public hearing and you can conduct the public hearing, close it, and then adopt the rates only if you know what those rates are.
is.
But you'll have a workshop right before that business meeting for you, so I can put it on next agenda to call for the public hearing with a copy of the proposal. And then you'll set the date.
Perfect. And that's what we'll do. And we'll find out.
And they're still
And
looking
just
at going
confirm their
in, they're actually looking at breaking ground the end of next month.
Well, they said within a month or two, that guy Rob Miller, who's in charge of the construction, he called me last week, set something up for Monday. So we're gonna know more Monday about the whole schedule. There's change orders right now, they're all some zero, because even the charges, all the extra charges are being picked up by the county and county had through the program. So that all has to be worked out, but the schedule is a big deal.
Hopefully it'll be like a concrete schedule since we know they've already
This is
done.
going on, they promised us last year in the summer.
Right, but now we know that they've gone in and.
Yeah, it's weird, because Con Ed, I mean, I got all the paperwork from all the engineers, so they know what they're doing now, they have to plan all this, rollout.
Was Irvington's part of this project?
Yep.
It was.
They ran into a snag, they didn't educate their folks, and then all of a sudden chargers showed up in front of people's houses, they were pretty angry.
Others are on the street.
Yep.
Those were voted down.
Okay, all right, so we're just checking that.
All right, I'll send you an email in the morning. If I can't figure it out now, I can probably figure it out now.
So I'll draft the local law and put a resolution on calling for a public hearing Your next meeting and the public hearing will be on the 9th of June. That should give you a, okay, great, I'll handle that. That should-
Number two. Alright, so this is rescheduling the holiday light parade,
And
so,
this year.
yeah, when we. As back story, we talked about this in like December, one of the first meetings, about when we would have all of the big events for the year and trying to set up the schedule. And at that meeting, we were acknowledging how the street closures on Cedar and Main, or Cedar really for this one, and Main, disrupt the businesses, the local businesses, and so we were trying to minimize that to the best that we could for all the events that were generally Saturday street closures. And so one of the things that we had done at that meeting was say that the holiday light parade, which had previously been on Saturdays, we'd move that to Sunday because we thought, you know, everybody would still come, like, still come out for it. But we did that without, you know, really vetting that through the staff, who then do the parade. So we want them to come and discuss with us their concerns about doing it on a Sunday versus the Saturday that it was before, and how that impacts them. So who wants to come? Cause we are open to.
Yes.
Hello,
How are you guys?
good, how are you?
Good.
Tell us how this impacts you and why we might wanna consider changing it back to Saturday.
So it's always, the first 2 years it's been on a Saturday. Obviously, it was an oversight. The fire department was not contacted about changing the date prior. It's the events in the firehouse.
Right.
So when this event goes on, there's a lot of moving pieces for us. I have to have people driving each truck. I have to have people staffing the firehouse, and I also have to have people available to respond to calls. I put the feelers out to our guys and girls when they saw the date. By the time we get out of here, it's 11 o'clock at night. By the time we get
After the
everything,
parade.
after, everything back in service. We did not get a good response to Sunday night. And if you guys want to keep it a Sunday, that's fine, but I don't think we could end it here. I'm not gonna have the people. I'll maybe be able to put one truck. And a lot of the guys are also DPW workers as well,
You have to work.
who are also driving the other big trucks. So you take us out of the mix, you're really cutting back, you know, your volunteer staff. And you know, we all are up probably by 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning the next day. And to be honest with you, it's too much. From the fire department side of it, every time the streets close down, we have to have people in this building because we have to make sure the trucks get out. So it's just extremely difficult for us to do stuff, especially on a Sunday night. Anything
You
else?
guys are a huge part of our
I
event,
know.
so.
Cause I get
And
trucks from other towns too, and it's the same
Like, they-
thing. They send crews. We have like 7 other villages that come, Fairview comes. And just trying to get people here for a Sunday night and then, you know, short turnaround to Monday morning is,
Yeah, it could potentially be issues for other volunteer groups.
yeah, and it's just, they don't wanna have to, hate to say, be here till 11 o'clock on a Sunday. Saturday, it's okay, cause then everyone could sleep in the next day, you know, relax, but.
If it was a daytime event, that's one thing, but it's a nighttime event.
Yeah, for the lights, I mean, we'll do it during the day, you'll just be a lot of sirens and you won't see the lights, so.
They'd be calling, what's going on downtown?
Does anybody have any?
The holiday sound parade would be.
What time did we start it, or are we planning to start it?
At 5:30, I believe.
And you still don't get out of here before 11?
Yeah, cause we have to literally, cause we decorate all the trucks, so we can't leave the trucks with all the floats and everything on it, cause we have to put the trucks back into service, so we're not, you know, going up to a pole with stuff flying off the truck. You know, that's the only, if it was just like park the truck and go home, it wouldn't be an issue, but we have to literally take all the decorations off the truck. Clean up the firehouse, cause we do the, you know, pictures with Santa Claus and hereafter. And it's just by the time we get out of here, it's literally like 10:30, 10:45, and it's just it's a long night, and you know, Sunday night. I also don't think you'll get the turnout from the youth as well, cause it's a school night. So that's just my take on it, but again, if you guys wanna keep it a Sunday, that's totally up to you. It's just, we're not gonna get the turnout from our membership that we normally would.
I think one of the issues was the parking, right? Because the streets closed so early and people couldn't get down. I don't know if there's some way we can fix that so that they're not as angry at us for closing the streets.
Mhm.
I guess that would be a police.
How long does the can you help me remember like
Hmm.
the time that it's actually closed? And then it, like, there's the parade and then it ends up in the firehouse.
And then we usually shut between Oak and Elm and then everything else opens back up.
So it opens, so it's only closed for like,
The entire, from the top of Cedar
Too close to
to,
Chestnut, right? Yeah.
yeah, till Chestnut is probably closed for the whole duration. Once they say like go with the parade, probably what, about half hour?
Yeah.
And then after that, we reduce it to between Oak and Elm, so it's just that portion of the street's closed, then Cedar Street opens up and the lower part of Main opens up as well, so it's not the whole, we don't keep the whole thing closed the entire time, it's just.
I think that as long as we just work harder with the police department to try and reduce the total number of time, of hours that the streets are closed, then I'm fine with moving it back to Saturday.
And I'm not sure if they,
Really-
did they clear all the cars, like, to me, that's not, just tell the people, listen, if you're there at 7 o'clock, you're basically gridlocked in for half an hour.
Like the Little League, we don't clear out.
No,
Yeah, it was,
No.
it was clear.
Memorial
when
Day.
I-
that's what I'm saying, to me,
And no one's gonna like pull out, you know, so like when the parade's going on. and you
Yeah, you're not gonna be able
can't,
to.
like, Thing, and you should treat it like the Little League parade, which is just like, it's an inconvenience for, 20 minutes, a half hour while everyone walks by and
I
then.
mean, I hate to say, it's the same thing if we're operating at a gas leak on Cedar Street, we're shutting the street down for as long as we're operating while we're doing it, it's not. You know, we do it all the time.
That's a hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
It's such a better
Hypothetical.
approach than like, okay, we're gonna shut down 2 hours
Right.
before and then,
Yeah.
like, you know, that's been we've always been doing that and then we're overkill.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and this isn't one of those ones where they come in at 4 and shut down the
Right.
street.
No, it's open up until
Right,
we
open
say go,
until you.
until they, you know.
I think they weren't allowed parking though, until we said go, right?
so we would just have to post signs for a couple of days in advance saying like,
Let people know.
that it's not gonna,
And let the businesses, yeah.
that, you know.
So it's a roll,
5:30 to 6:30 or whatever we think, whatever we guesstimate, you know, you're not gonna be able to move your car, so if it's here, be prepared.
so it's a rolling
I think
closure.
that's such a better idea than like the multi-hour closure.
Yeah.
And then we had that space in front of the tree that was closed because people came down.
Yeah, I think that, you know,
That's the
yeah,
biggest-
you can block.
We
off
can
people.
slow
Yeah,
down
I
the
think the main
street
issue is
down,
like,
yeah.
people can't come in and pick up pizza or, you know, whatever and. For 4 hours.
Or they have to park and walk to get the pizza. and
Oh,
then-
yeah, oh, forget that.
God forbid double parkers.
And you could work out the logistics with the police chief because the police department is the one who's authorized to put up the temporary sign, so you can, instruct them. What the sign should say, they can put up, you can put them up in advance to say, be aware.
It's a rolling closure, it's not.
Yeah. Sixth before, and now we're saying it's the fifth.
It's the first Saturday usually.
Yeah, that. Then it's also, that's when we were gonna do, I mean, it's all of it, it's tree lighting, light parade, Santa, firehouse, all of that.
But
So we would
not the menorah.
Menorah, they wanted separate, so it's.
Yeah.
Seventh or something, it's after.
So since you passed a resolution, you'll have to put something on
Right,
to revise that.
okay.
So
So we will,
over time.
sorry, businesses, but there's a reason it was on Saturday. But we will do our best to reduce the impact,
So we need to
so we'll put that on the next meeting.
put a resolution on.
Okay, anyway, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry, we didn't.
No, no worries, it's just, I just wanted to
Go
get
through
it
that.
to you guys earlier than wait
No,
till
this is
November and
still
say, oh,
amazing
by the way.
for
Yeah.
our track record.
Yes,
No, that helps.
thanks.
And then I will connect with. All right, next. We have the Greater Irvington Land Trust Community Grant Awards. So. I think there's Daniel's there. The CAB applied for these 2 grant awards for the Greater Irvington Land Trust, which is a privately funded grant program. And one of them is for this tree and sign at Ashford and Shady Lane, and the other one is for Mini Forest, and they were awarded these grants. And so what we have to discuss is the fact that we're whether or not we're accepting them, and if there's any money that we're supposed to be in their request, potentially funding, then our discussion is whether or not we're funding that. Matt knows more about this than all of us, and Daniel knows,
And Larry.
and Larry knows many for us. So you're welcome to come up and hear so that people can ask you questions if they have them. And then this also somewhat ties into the fact that we won the scavenger hunt thing that has the $3,000 grant. Oh, the check, yeah. Which we haven't decided, like, I don't think we specifically, we haven't necessarily won it yet by someone giving it to us. We got a giant check, but we're not acknowledging that we're winning it. No one sent us anything
I
to
didn't receive
accept
it.
it.
And you can't put that in the.
It wouldn't be-
ATM, it would be in the ATM.
No, it
Oh,
wouldn't.
just check.
It's
The maintenance fees will fix that.
very thin.
Can you bring that check to segment?
So let's talk first about the tree and educational sign, and that is Mr. Burgess. So tell us about your thing, your tree, your projects,
Yep.
so that we can hear from you.
So it's actually not from the CAB, it's from the neighborhood group. Last year, the neighborhood group planted a couple of trees, and they're doing really well. And people in the neighborhood thought we should do it again. And then this grant opportunity came up, so we were like, let's just apply for the grant, and at the same time, put up a sign so that we can educate people about the benefits of trees, and also that spot is the village owned, right? Like last year there was some work done because of the stormwater, right?
There was stormwater collapse, one of the pipes collapsed.
Yeah, and the whole kind of along between Briary and that area is kind of houses are built in a swamp, right? People's basements get flooded, so it's in terms of the dealing with climate change and bigger storms and stormwater. That is a village-owned lot that is basically functioning as a biosphere, right? It's kind of helping to absorb rainwater that's coming down from Price Street as well, and planting a tree that would help with absorbing the rainwater as well. And it's a community building activity as well, planting a tree together. So loads of benefits. And we're looking to plant a northern red oak, which is a keystone species supporting hundreds of insects and other wildlife. So lots of benefits.
And
So this
so,
one is, the grant doesn't ask anything from us other than to give permission to post the sign and allow the tree on that small lot at the corner of Ashford and Shady Lane. Correct, Daniel?
That is correct, yes.
So it would just be a resolution to accept
the tree and
the tree and
and the planting.
yeah. This isn't one of the ones where the money has to funnel through the village. This goes directly to the group and the group.
There's no match. It's just.
Okay, there's no match.
Nope.
And this is confirmed that it is village property, the site that they're discussing.
The bigger me to check that.
To the, what, their GIS it is.
Yeah.
But the ownership, the building department confirmed it's village owned.
Yeah, we asked them to confirm it before we brought this forward.
Okay, good.
Yes, and I assume you don't have any other plans for that, so.
Now it's gonna be a 5 to 7 foot tree.
Yes.
How long?
One question for the administrator. If there's a project, a storm drain project that happens in that area, is this lot affected by it? Might there be construction there at some point? Or is that not in the construction zone?
First thing I would always check when you dig is look for utilities, whether they're ours or private. So that's the first thing we would check in terms of location, because there are a couple of things out there, as we found with the,
But is that location part of the study zone that has been undertaken? I know there's been some studies, engineering studies around how to fix that whole area. Is that lot part of that?
I'm not clear on the question. There is, when they did the redo of the sewer collapse, I'm sure they took utility studies to do preliminary sees of what's out there. If there's existing information, we'll be happy to use that. But any dig usually asks for a call out for.
Yeah,
like
it look,
underground
I think it's a
electric,
little, I think it's a couple of the, Virginia terminates 3 properties north of this lot. So I think the storm line is at the end of Virginia, sort of parallel with Virginia.
So then this would be safe.
I don't have that drawing in front of me, but it looks like it's the other 150, 200 feet north of there, but.
Probably would have been part of the assessment that Anthony did and has inputted into the GIS.
Yeah, but also this is its own independent sort of natural stormwater solution, right? Like it is a natural low point, collects water and then, you know, sort of slowly distributes it to the soils around it, which is, you know, kind of taking some component of the runoff out of the system, which is what we want.
Yeah. Do you envision it's like a street tree, like along, like
Right,
beside it?
that's
It's
something
not-
I wanna clarify.
not-
It's
it's
like,
not-
where is it gonna go?
It's not
that
in
site?
the ravine, obviously.
Cause you wanna see it?
Right, there's a plaque that's gotta be out there. People want to see it, obviously, off the sidewalk.
Did you already have thoughts on that? Like how close it would be or how?
Yes, couple of weekends ago, maybe 3 weekends ago, the CAB is like, there's actually a couple of high school students who are removing invasive plants, Phragmites. And they were working on that, and they actually had somebody from the Irvington Woods stop by who was you know, like a tree expert, and I was talking to him about like the best placement. And yeah, he suggested, you know, it just kind of flowed down to kind of the stream there, right? And it would be kind of you know, at the shady lane end and kind of in the middle. So, you know, closer to
Not a street tree. It is inside the depression area, right? The sloped area. It's inside.
Well, there's no sidewalk on Shady. So if it's
No,
on
but it's not on
Shady-
Ashford is what,
Not on Ashford, it's like halfway along the property line on Shady, and there's no sidewalk on Shady, so it wouldn't be a street tree.
Just be a tree.
Like,
Right, not a
we don't need to worry about sidewalk and.
But the sign could be closer to the street.
Yeah, so that people can,
People can learn about it.
Right,
Pretty
like you would
middle.
put the sign over here-ish?
Yeah, you know, we'll have to decide. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, that would probably be good so that people from Ashford can also see it.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the tree, it's about, you know, it's like green solution to like, you know, climate change, bioswales, you know. You know, we'll try to get community input on like what's gonna go on the sign. Consult with sustainable jobs, CAB, and obviously, you know, get the village approval on the final language and so on. So, and you know, we put the Greater Irvington Land Trust seal on it because, you know, we need to acknowledge that that's where the funds come from.
I love the sample that you included with your application. It's really
Yeah,
helpful.
and you know, in general, I think you know, sustainable jobs and, you know, the CAB, and you know, there are so many opportunities to educate people about all the great things that are going on. You know, it's like it'd be great to do a similar design for the mini forest, you know, for pollinator gardens. You know, yeah, so you know, there's hopefully we'll be able to do more science in the future to just educate people.
Great, okay, and then anybody else have any questions for Daniel? Right. So then the other one is a mini forest.
I just want to mention if you do approve it. We plan to plant the tree Saturday at 5 p.m. and hope that you're all welcome and you wanna
This
stop by.
Saturday?
This Saturday, yes. So we can,
Yeah.
trees need to go to the ground, not now, and it's like, once it gets too hot and so on,
You have the tree?
It's ordered, so.
It's tagged.
It's ordered.
So
Ready to go. It will be ready to go, assuming, that.
It's tagged at the nursery, ready to go.
Assuming you'll approve.
waiting for
All
you.
right, let's go.
Alright. So mini forest, this is such an interesting fun fact, so give us the brief on this.
Yeah, hi, I'm Larry Katzenstein. I'm here representing Sustainable Dobbs. I'm a member, and so basically, these are called Miyawaki mini forests, named after Akira Miyawaki, a Japanese botanist who came up with this concept back in the 1970s. And the idea is if you plant different plants really close to each other and in a grid pattern, and basically you get a synergy among the roots of the plants and they kind of stimulate each other to grow. And there have been quite a few studies that have found that this particular strategy for planting really speeds up the growth of especially trees, which is the main target of these forests, to get the trees to grow. And and basically after like 3 years, these mini forests become self-sustaining. They don't need to be watered or weeded. They're basically on their own, and they keep on growing after that. And so I got interested in it, and I bought the vacant lot behind our house on Hilldale Road a couple years ago from the town of Greenberg, and I created a mini forest there in the fall, and it's like 21 feet by 21 feet approximately, and basically it's divided into grids of 1 yard by 1 yard, and within each of the grids there's like 5 or 6 plants, a mix of ground cover, shrubs, subcanopy, and canopy trees. And so the idea is that these are all native trees to this part of the country, and so they should feel comfortable once they're planted. And so I was quite pleased that over the winter, I think it actually helped to have all the snow, that most of the plants survived and seemed to be doing well. So I'm hopeful that if we did this one in Chauncey Park, the one that Sustainable Dobbs is proposing, that we'd also have good luck in having it succeed. And so I guess back in April, I applied to the Greater Irvington Land Trust for a grant it's like a 2-part grant. One part would be for the deer fence, which would be vital for protecting the plants from the deer. And the other part would be for the testing of the soil, the compost, topsoil, and shovels, buckets, and other implements that we would need for the forest. And so the total for the deer fence was $900, and for the compost and topsoil and implements was another $900. So that was a total of $1,800. And what we're hoping is that the village will match that $1,800 with an additional $1,800. And I heard last night that thanks to the scavenger hunt, I don't know whether this is official yet, but the mini forest will be getting $1,000 from the scavenger hunt, because Dobbs Ferry was the winner of the scavenger hunt. And at least that's what I was told anyway.
Well, we haven't officially got the 3,000 like awarded to us, and then once we get it, the grant is for projects, and any of these kind of
Right.
sustainable projects, and so then it would be up to us as to if we can use part of that 3,000 towards a match to this, so that we can do that. But for tonight, we're just going to be accepting the GILT grant, and then once we have that one, in hand and we can accept it, then we can consider the other part. But seems like it would be a good use for it. That is my opinion.
Oh, and I should add that the plan is to put it into Chauncey Park.
Right.
I identified 7 potential locations, within the park for it, so.
What's the size of the mini forest for Chauncey?
I'm proposing about the same size as the one I have, about 21 feet by 21 feet,
And is that there's a certain like
Well, you can, that's a good question.
proportion, the ideal proportion for the type of,
Yeah, I mean, you can have them as small as like a parking space in a parking lot and they'll do
so
fine.
like 10 by 20 or something like that?
Yeah, this seems to be, based on my own experience, it seemed to be a manageable size. Without it being too ambitious, I guess.
Okay, I've been here for 13 years and I'm asking everybody around me right now, where is Chauncey Park?
Oh, we'll take you on a walk. It's right next to Mom's
Yeah.
Next to Mom.
and next to the Danforth. There's no sign yet for it. That
Okay.
is
Oh, it's
something
that
that's on the
area.
list.
That's what-
There's a
that-
driveway that you're like, where's that
The
driveway?
driveway
down?
to nowhere.
Yeah,
Okay,
but it's
that's,
not.
It's not
a
terribly
wonderful path.
inviting.
It is.
Just walk up there next time and then there's a path that takes you all the way to that, like where the road where Dunkin' Donuts is.
Yeah,
Near
it
the
goes
bridge.
all the way.
It's a nice walk. If you have a dog.
yeah,
Yeah.
Bring
that's
your dogs,
Chauncey
it's a good-
Park.
Yeah.
Yes, and when we
9 plus
finally
acre
can,
park. Yeah.
we can finally finalize the transaction,
State the.
there'll be a section in between where Chauncey then will go all the way down to meet the lower parts.
okay.
And then we can put
Checked in
sign
on
up
that.
because of our property and,
Right.
you know.
Then it will be
fix up
like,
the entrance so it doesn't look so intimidating.
But right now, there is the part that's Chauncey that's ours, and so
Yeah.
it could go in that, and so then if we approve this, then they would work with the DPW and Parks Department to identify where the best location would be. So yeah, so that's all that, we have all of that information and what we have to decide tonight, and we can vote now, get it over with, yeah? I'm asking Liz because I like her to say yes to anything, but, cause our first resolution for the regular meeting is to accept these, at the first and second. So,
yes, and we'll revise that resolution on the fly to make sure that the appropriation part of it is deleted until we decide what to earmark for that.
okay, so should I wait until we go up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on for resolution,
Yep.
the resolution indicates a 100 match because
That's
that's
how it seemed.
the project said 800 plus 100 plus, yeah.
Okay, all right, well, thank you both.
Thank you.
Let's do our liaison reports. Yes, we can. Matt, do you want to start? Any liaison updates?
Yes, last night there was a Sustainable Dobbs meeting that I failed to attend.
Where the Sustainable Jobs Group told them that they were going to use the money in an official way.
You're very good about attending, I just want to add that.
That's not what we meant by the guilt grant.
Thank you, Mr. Pence.
Did you get that? That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That's not what we meant by.
Oh, my, too much matcha today.
Yeah, anything else from Sustainable Jobs or any of your posts, Matt, that you want to share with us or discuss?
No, I missed the meeting, the sustainable meeting, and there's been no CAB meeting since my last report.
Okay. Is there anything you want to talk about, Mike?
Oh, in fact, though, I do want to say one thing. There was some data that came from Project Mover, and there have been literally hundreds of trips from Mercy, and we from the new bike station in Mercy. And so in the next bunch of data that we're getting, we're going to be looking at where those trips that originated there ended, and I'm hoping in the downtown, and where trips to Mercy originated. So this is a really interesting new development for Project Mover.
Where does that information go to and come from?
It goes to the steering committee. I believe Margaret gets it, as well as the folks on sustainable.
Okay, I'll check in with them, because I don't think that well, I don't think, Margaret does not get it, so.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah,
It comes from Alex McElhaney, Margaret at Project Mover. We should get you on that list.
I am on the
Yeah,
list.
we didn't get the new information yet.
I feel like somebody had reached out to get the information from Sustainable Ducks, but that might be wrong. So yeah, can you ask them to forward that to us so that we have it too?
Yes, I will.
In that vein of more people riding the e-bikes, I'm going to put out in the newsletter this Friday, just a reminder of what our village code is and a flag that I've asked based on an accident that happened with the Project Mover e-bike and someone riding it not in the legal manner. To remind them that there's laws to follow, they have to wear helmets, and I've asked the chief to be looking at it more closely and pulling people over who are not doing it. Issuing citations for people who aren't following that, because it's very dangerous and we don't need cracked heads on the streets and people riding illegally and not following the rules of traffic, so. It's great that there's more people riding Project Mover, but they need to follow the laws because that's what's that's what's safe.
Safety first.
Cars are following the laws and the bikes need to also. Anything else? Anything with you?
Update for everyone, we are in the process of organizing and narrowing the applicants who submitted the RFQ for Gould Park. I think that's probably still the whole 3 weeks away till we have narrowed it down, and at that point, we can start to look more closely at the applicants to choose a partner for that project. We
So
have.
we shouldn't have that. I had it on our workshop on May 26th.
Might be soon, I don't know, I'll check in with Valerie.
Any more time?
Probably.
Okay.
I think we'll need to narrow it down and then,
Yeah.
no, I appreciate that. I think we narrow it down and then we should look at it as a group and then narrow it a little more before we start interviews.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Valerie this week sent out a rubric. And
Yep.
her staff is going through to put everything through that rubric, so you have a central place to look at it, so.
Yeah,
It will be
we've got
very
a lot of
helpful to
applications and there's a
organize.
lot of information in them, and so it's, it's hundreds of pages to go through. And one of it, so we got 13 legit responses, and then, some of them are, dozens of pages long, dozens of pages, we can put a lot of work into it. I don't wanna just it's a lot. Comp plan, it's kind of like shaping up, we met yesterday and have some sort of improved structure for it, and that will be coming to us. Not quite sure if we're still on track, but next.
June. It'll be June.
A month or two, yeah.
And you'll have to have that on your workshop to go through, so.
Yeah.
You might even need a dedicated workshop, we're not sure yet, because they're doing some reformatting, so.
Jessica?
The public art RFQ is up for the mural on the Rochambeau wall, and we're gonna get me a letter.
Yeah.
From them. And we've been getting a lot of responses so far, and Jennifer is collating them and, collecting them for review by the committee, subcommittee, I guess.
We have a closing date on it, right?
I think it's like May 22nd or something, it's pretty
month.
quick, yeah.
Yeah.
But we've been getting a good,
Yeah.
I mean, quantity wise at least. She told me not to look at the submissions.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Right, don't.
Yeah, and then, I don't have much to say from starting.
Yeah, we have the policy later
Yes.
for the part
Right,
that I just.
yeah.
Yes.
Just on a quick note, I spoke to the Wellcraft people. We had
Oh.
some issues with them getting paid up front without doing the work yet, so we worked something out with Jeff. So we got them paid. They're on this abstract, so they can actually get the fabrication moving. They have their materials. So they just needed to, I sort of signed the contract 2 weeks ago, but we just had a little bump in how to actually pay them to get them moving, but they're on.
For the signage, great.
Correct.
Where are they
For the
located?
They're in, I think, Virginia.
It's been a change in labor law, so I just want to
Yeah.
make sure they're not in the state
Yes.
of New York. It's in the state of New York, the labor law now requires any fabrication off-site that will be
Yes.
contributing to a public works contract to be at prevailing wage.
Yeah.
So there is a active litigation challenging that from out-of-state fabricators. So we're waiting for results on that, but just an FYI, now fabrication for public works is going to be subject to prevailing wage.
Okay,
Thank you.
any liaison reports? Yes.
Yeah,
So,
just, do you have updates on HVAC for the library and also the list of projects for the Embassy Center, mainly the floor and the leaks that Kendra outlined for us? And we were gonna see what is already covered maybe by warranty and what she has to get. Where that stands, where all those repairs stand.
I do know that MTS, the company that we hired to retain them to do local work, on a price by price itemized basis.
Is this on the HVAC?
This is
Or no,
actually,
this is on the.
this
on
is
the
this is the embassy, the roof leaks and things. So they recommended, they're gonna send us a proposal to do some pointing and fixing some of the windows. Maybe that's where some of the water.
No, that's what they
is.
determined, right, it wasn't really the roof, it was sealing around the window.
It could be, there's, water,
Right.
this level, we're gonna try to find out.
Never trace sometimes.
Right, so they outlined a proposal, which, DPW and I are actually reviewing it now.
Okay, so you're under, but wasn't there a question on what might already be covered under?
There are no warranties in place at the moment.
Okay, so Kendra can move ahead and get her estimates and work with you on
Yeah,
that?
I'm waiting for estimate and TS, but
Okay.
yes.
That's what.
Yes.
Well, I'm just clarifying. it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yes.
Okay. And what about the library?
Did the engineer submit a proposal, I believe, a week or two ago?
yeah, we got a proposal from AI Engineering. I have a question into whether this is. Like, is this is this the direction we have to go, is, paying for this upfront feasibility study on the HVAC, or is there another option? But that's a discussion we need to have between Mike, Rob and I
And Jeff,
and Jeff. Because it's money, he's the money man. Should we be paying money and that's committing to them automatically, in theory, doing the work? Because it would be money towards the ultimate project, or is this,
It's like the first phase of the design.
Right.
Process, so if we are gonna undertake it, it's money well spent.
Right.
If the assessment shows that, there's no alternative location for the air conditioning, then. Not so well spent.
there's gonna have to be.
Yeah, well,
Have to
there would be some kind of hybrid solution, right? Like the problem is that the piece of equipment that needs to be relocated is large and heavy. And there isn't a lot of. You don't wanna put it on, like block the view from the. From the deck, like we don't, there's not a lot of places to put it. So could that be broken up into smaller pieces and parts of it moved, around the property, maybe?
Yep. Anyway, we're
Working ahead on
Yes.
both those things.
But I think it's important to tell them that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's like,
Okay.
Donna, I
That's
think it's important to manage their expectations because this has been a multi-year
I know
question.
that.
And it's gonna take a long time to resolve, and so like, if they're asking for, monthly updates, that's unreal, like, that's not how.
Exactly, as long as we are.
as long as we know that there's something moving.
Yeah,
that's
no,
what we
but
need to
like,
be
once we get
communicating.
into, if we approve this, and we get into design phase, like.
Right,
Yeah.
it's
You
a
know.
process, but we're on it. That was their main concern.
Because we weren't necessarily as. on it
Yes,
before,
yes.
trying to be more on it.
Exactly. So, and I'll also touch base with Abby to update her as well, that it's in process of these repairs being evaluated and moving in.
Yeah, well, it's Kendra's building,
Yeah.
so.
Kendra,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I can add,
But in terms of her liaison post, that's why we're that.
I could add you to the CC list, though, you were missing nothing.
yeah, that's great. That's great, just so that I can update them, because
Yeah.
it's, you know,
You should be in the know.
thank you, I appreciate that.
Okay, we have to wrap up. So is there a motion to close this?
Update on the 99.7.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just giving a motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
just looked up while we were here, this is the 99.7 thing. Terrytown, Irvington, Sleepy Hollow, Pelham, Bedford, Briarcliff, White Lake, Chappaqua, Elmsford, Bronxville, New Shell, Bella, Eastville, Larchmont, Thornwood, Beacon, Austin, and Millwood, they all charge that 99 cents.
I'm okay with staying on par.
Margaret.
Margaret,
Let's.
staying on par. Margaret.
If you could-
That was his dad joke. And then Robert.
I gotta get him in, man.
All right, is there a motion to close this?
Yes.
Trustee Gupta, second, trustee Zuma, all in favor? Seven.